Hello everyone, it's Bob Mitch and welcome to day 2 of the Invictus launch week. Today it's Anvil Day, and if we peer over the balcony we can see that Anvil have got a big selection. I don't anticipate this to be a long video. As per normal, I haven't been down here yet. This is the first time coming down just to look around, and I can already see something very special. So of course Anvil have a lot of flyable ships in game, so I expect there's going to be quite a few models around here. They are all on one floor this time, however, so we'll start going around. To the back we have the C8 Pisces, obviously the snub fighter for the Carrack, which is very nice to see on display in the back there. We have to go straight to this, don't we? So this is the normal, I would say, version of the F8 Lightning. Oh, we can actually get in the pilot's seat for this one, or can we? Doesn't seem like it, so I'll continue. So yep, this is the normal version of the F8 Lightning, not the bells and whistles version that we managed to steal in the last video that I put up. So that's the 999 Squadron sort of display team variant of the F8. So this is the normal military version, and I have to say, after messing around very briefly with the F8s that we managed to get and seeing this thing fly around and having it for a few brief moments just to fly it about. I've been doing some 3D prints of them as well. I am very rapidly becoming a fan of this thing. Not willing to spend $10,000 to get it in a pledge, but it'll be nice to see it when we finally do get Squadron 42 and we get these things to fly. On the other side we have the other interesting ship that's come in with the Invictus fleet. So if you follow the fleet in, more specifically the Javelin, you will see some of these. This is the F7A Hornet, so the more military variant of the Hornet. You see it's got some Gatling guns on the top, and it has some very big repeaters on top of the turret there. In fact, it looks like it's got 2 sets, which is a hell of a lot of firepower from that, and then it's got 2 more down below. So I think these ones, if I'm right, are a bit more easier to steal from the Invictus fleet. I know someone in Sync managed to get inside one that didn't have a pilot in, so he was able to fly this thing about. But again, I'm not that much of a Hornet fan. I know there's a few people in Sync who love the Hornet to bits, especially the Super Hornet, but I can see why a lot of people are anticipating this one, because like the Super Hornet, it's got a hell of a lot of firepower going for it. So of course, this being the main military event, of course they're going to have the military vehicles forefront, so the F7A and the new Lightning. Let's go further down the hall and see what else we've got. It's got a it's nice to see a very packed out hall, I'll just say that. Anvil, like I said, has a lot of ships in game, so they've a lot to offer players now, and free flight is around. So of course, if you're taking part in the free flight, you can come down here and rent any of these ships, I imagine bar these two, for 24 hours. So even the Carrack, you can just go up to them and target them and rent them. We'll start this side, we'll go right to left, and of course this is the Valkyrie. So this is Anvil's dropship offering. I do like these things, these are very cool in group play. I've done several flights and things with these with synchronizers. They have some cargo space now after it was campaigned for. If you look on the RSI store, they've just put some like paint liveries up, and there's a really nice looking camouflage scheme, like a forest camo variant for this now, that actually looks really cool. I'm not sure how applicable that is on different missions. Up next we have the Arrow, which is Anvil's light fighter. So this is like a carrier deployment fighter, so many of these things will be flown and blown up. They aren't that heavily armoured, but they do pack a big punch, and as someone asked me the other day, you can see that they do have a little turret built on top. It's not a manable turret, but it's like a gimbaled one that you can use. These things pack a lot of firepower as well for what they are, so they're very manoeuvrable. They pack a nice punch, and they're very quick, so they're good to fly. Over here, is this a Super Hornet? I can't actually tell. This is the F7C Hornet, so this is the civilian variant of the Hornet. So this one's like the basic loadout. It's only got some Gatling gun stuff, hasn't got a turret up top, but you can customize the Hornet to like no end, especially the civilian one. This one is like the bare bones one that you can pretty much do whatever you want with. You can buy the gimbal and things that go up on the top there, and then you can buy more weapons that fit up top. Very customizable. What can I not say about the Carrack? So Carrack's next. This is like the big boy that's located in the middle. I love the Carrack. I'm privileged because I got one for free because I staffed CitizenCon last year, and they gave there's a person in the cockpit. They gave the volunteers an LTI Carrack. We can't do anything with it, unfortunately. I can't upgrade it to the Expedition one, which is what I wanted to do, because that's in their terms of service. They aren't allowed to let us like modify it or use it as credits or anything, but it's still a free Carrack, and it came with the Pisces as well, so I cannot complain. Oh, and an Ursa Rover. So this is going to be like one of my basically bread and butter ships, along with my 890. So I love this thing to bits. If you haven't flown one in one, I very, very highly recommend that you use one during the free flight. You'll love this thing when you get it going. Up next we have the Hurricane. So Hurricane is a heavy fighter, I think, or is it a medium fighter? One of the two. Either way, it's like got enough firepower to take on a small army. You can see these giant size 4, size 5 guns on the side of the cockpit here. These are controlled by the pilot, and then up top there, this thing has a manable turret, so you can get a friend up in the turret there to control those guns on the back. And yeah, it's like a response heavy fighter. So these things are good fun to see, and I know that these are very good fighters. They're not as manoeuvrable as a lot of other things, but they make up for that in the amount of sheer firepower they can lay down. Moving around, we have the Hawk. So the Hawk is a light fighter. It's meant to be like a bounty hunter ship. So if I can go around the back, if you've not seen the Hawk before, in the back compartment here, if I can open it, it's just letting me rent it. I don't think it'll let me open it. You can let me open it? Yeah, there we go. So open exterior. So in the back here, it's got like a travelling compartment for a prisoner, so you can track a bounty. If you want to bring him in alive or dead, I suppose, you can basically shove him in the back of your Hawk here, and he's nice and secure. Or you could be really sadistic to a friend and put a friend in there if you need to travel with them instead. Armament, I have to say, when I flew the Hawk, I liked its manoeuvrability and I liked the looks. It looks very cool. I love this very little like cubby window that looks down through the bottom when you're flying it, but I have to say it felt very weak. Like the armament on it, it's only got these size 1 guns, and a couple more on the wings, yes, up top there, and a few missiles. It's got a little EMP as well, so it's got that going for it, but it's not a very big range EMP. Not that much of a fan of the Hawk, if I'm honest, but again, not my kind of ship, so to each their own. Moving further around, we have the Gladiator. Now this is an old ship. This is one of the oldest ships designs that's still in the game that's not been revamped, and I do think it needs a look at. So Gladiator's got a decent amount of firepower and some missiles, but it's meant to be a bomber, but I don't think it drops the bombs like the Taliator and the Eclipse do, so it kind of feels a bit underwhelming now compared to everything else. That said, it's a fun ship to fly, and you can get another person in the turret in the top there. So it still looks very cool, it just feels a bit dated compared to everything else that's on offer these days. And last but by no means least, we've got the Terrapin. So the Terrapin is a foray, it's kind of like the little brother to the Carrack over there. So the Terrapin and the Carrack are meant as pathfinders. So I've long said that exploration in Star Citizen is going to have 2 categories. It's going to have pathfinding, and then it's going to have expedition exploration. So pathfinding is where you're going to hurl ships like the Terrapin and the Carrack that are meant to be, you know, out in the arse end of the middle of nowhere and exploring, and they are going to do the maps. There's a dude stood on top of the Carrack there. They're going to do the maps, so they're going to plot the charts and find the new jump gates, and these guys are going to be the pioneers, the Carracks and the Terrapins. And then you have the expedition ships like the Constellation Aquila, the 600i Exploration, you know, all those kind of ships that have a few more creature comforts, and aren't meant to be, you know, out in the deep black on their own for extended periods of time, whereas these things are, even though you don't have a very nice bed. So these things plot the charts, they find the planets, and then the other, like, more expedition-y ships go and explore the planets. You could explore the planets with these, you certainly can with the Carrack, no doubt about that, but things like the Terrapin are armoured with the you know, the advanced scanner suites that are going to do all the priority exploration. And that's about it, isn't it? That's all we've got in the Anvil Hall today. Well, I say that's all we've got. There is a lot on offer here. So if you've not done the free flight, come and do it. Free ships, free flight. You don't have to have bought the game. You don't have to have pledged. Just download it, install it. There are still server problems. There is no beating around that, and I'm not going to try and defend that because it has been a little bit silly over the past couple of days, especially Again today, when it hit peak hours, sort of 7 PM UK time, my time, the servers started to get queues again and things, but I think that's just because of this year people joining. There was something like another 2 million accounts registered or something today alone for the free flight weekend, so it's getting busy and the servers are getting hammered, but it's still a lot of fun. As you saw in the other video, if you haven't seen it yet, watch my last one where we managed to go and steal some of the display team F8s and have a bit of fun. Come and play. It's free internet spaceships. It's a good laugh. So for now, Anvil Day 2, this is me signing off. I will see you all with some more shenanigans or more fleet stuffs for Day 3. I haven't even looked at the schedule because I'm that much of an idiot and I don't know what Day 3 is. I suppose I'll find out when I come here and have a look. I'll see you next time.